Epic Gaming Night is made possible by the support of patrons like you. Welcome to the Epic Gaming Night Podcast, a podcast about the stories and relationships board games create. I'm your host, Roy Canny, and with me as always is Matt!
Hello!
We missed you, Matt!
It's good to be back.
And Rob.
Hello.
Hello.
Nobody missed me.
I missed you too, Rob.
Nope.
Everybody did. Chat
Nope.
missed you, I know that's for sure. They can't go a
Nope,
whole
you,
week without their
you didn't
Robert
say it.
Newman fix.
You didn't say it. It's all right. It's okay.
Aww.
How you doing, Matt?
I'm okay, man. How are you?
Doing pretty good.
I'm a little tired.
Hey,
You're still working morning shift stuff?
No, I actually had the day off today, and I didn't do anything, and I think that's probably the reason.
Hey,
Um,
that is very tiring. I know that sounds like really dumb and, counterintuitive, but sometimes when you have like those chill days, right? Like, you ever go on a vacation and you need a vacation day from your vacation?
yeah.
yeah. I don't know. Man, I don't know.
Yeah. So,
Just
Hey,
like
side
it was
note.
too late to be good.
side note,
But
did
yeah.
you guys get your tickets yet for Avengers Endgame?
Yes.
No.
Okay, so they came online
Thursday at
today.
6 p.m.
They came online today, and the site here in Winston kept crashing.
Whoa, that's crazy. Were you
IMAX
there, like,
sold out.
right at the very beginning of it?
Yeah, me and my buddy were. We're seeing it twice. We're seeing it at 6:30 and 10:30.
Ooh, that's awesome.
But we couldn't get on IMAX. The IMAX tickets, those sold out within like under 10 minutes, definitely.
Oh, that's crazy.
And we were on there right at 8:00 when the email went live. Like, hey, get your tickets now.
Nice.
But anyway, so we're excited. We got good seats. But yeah, it was. I think they set a record for the largest online ticket sales for a movie in under an hour ever.
It's going to be crazy. I feel like, I don't know. It's one of those movies that's like you have to see it like right when it comes out because you know the spoilers online. You're just going to stay off the internet if you don't see it immediately, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, we're not going to spoil anything. Tom,
I
we do like a segment called Back Talk, and Tom was like, we're just going to have a Back Talk just about Avengers Endgame and just be like, spoilers, everybody. And then just be like, don't enter this live stream unless you want to know about it.
Yeah.
But I think they're just
Yeah, no, I'm super excited for that whole weekend. Like everything about that weekend is just going to be great. So nice.
Sweet. Well, I guess we can talk. I have a couple of newsy type things to talk
I'm
about.
actually really excited about this first one that you're going to talk about.
Nice. Yeah, I don't know a whole lot about this game, but it just like got announced out of the blue, and that is Abomination Heir of Frankenstein, a new
Yes.
game from Plaid Hat Games. And we're fans of Plaid Hat games. And it looks really good. I'm always like all of their games, like I don't know, maybe I've become jaded seeing all these terrible artwork games all the time working with the Dice Tower, but like whenever I see a Plaid Hat game, it's just like it just looks amazing. Just the artwork looks amazing.
Yeah,
you
but
know?
how are the components though?
Yeah, I mean everything seemed pretty cool from the pictures I saw, but it seems like you're all playing different Frankenstein type characters, trying to build monsters and bring them to life, collect body parts and such.
Yes,
thanks.
it's a worker placement game where you are trying to continue the work of Dr. Frankenstein, and you are trying to make your best monster possible. And you may have to murder people, you may have to do some back alley stuff and buy some dead parts from other people. It's kind of sketchy. You may have to go to cemetery and stuff. But He Who Shall Not Be Named was telling me about it, and so I looked it up, and it does look really cool, and it's out for pre-order right now on their website, and so you can check it out at plaidhatgames.com. But this is like a Euro that I'm definitely interested in playing, right? because I love the theme. I love that it makes you do some questionable things, right? Like in real life, I'd never go buy body parts, but part of a board game, like, listen, bro, I got this fresh arm. Don't ask me where I got it. I got a fresh left arm. Do you need a left arm? I don't have the right.
I already got a left arm. I'll give you my old left arm. This is a better left arm, but you can have my old left arm. I got this fresh left arm.
Like, come on, man. Come on. Hold on. You give me 20 minutes, I'll have a fresh right arm for you. See that guy over there? He about your build? All right. Hold on. I'll be back. Boom. You know,
and it looks like you have like this like table, and then you put all the body parts, like there's actual like pieces that you put out on the little thing and stuff like that. It'll be interesting to see how it all comes together. Literally.
What do you think about the price point, though? I think it's like $60.
It is. I was just looking at it. I mean, I'm happy to not see, games that are consistently coming out at retail for 100 to 120.
Yeah, so many games are that price right now.
That's also probably that.
Like their Gen 7 game and stuff like that. Like that's why I was asking about the components. I don't know if you've seen any more. I just saw that one still picture, but artwork and everything is cool. But if I pay a premium price, like I want like a premium product, and I wouldn't say $60 is a premium price, but for a board game, I mean $60 is not it's still not a cheap game. Like I can go buy a video game for that same price. And so I don't know. I want to see more about it, but so far I like the idea and the theme behind it. I think it could be really cool. And I'm not saying I'm a Euro gamer or becoming a Euro gamer, but I'm starting to like them more. I felt dirty saying that, man.
I thought about doing this episode about like the changing times, but
man, I feel, man, I don't know. We'll talk about it.
Nice.
Hey, do you have any more else to say about that? Because I have a question for you about last week's game in the news.
Okay. I guess we can hit that before we go to the other news thing that I have here.
All right. That game that you played last week's...
Tsuyuki Full Moon Down?
Yes. Oh, do you really think it's worth it?
With the miniatures and everything, I thought looked like it was worth it. I enjoyed the game a lot. I'm hoping that the game isn't as long when you play it like with people that like know it, or like people that can play fast, I guess.
Well, here's the thing. It's definitely a take that game. And I like Gray Fox games. And I think they're a good company and stuff like that. But like I don't know if I want to spend $150 for a game I may play a couple of times.
Gotcha. Well, I feel like the game is worth
like I've already got it backed
to the point of like a lot of these other area control games. I think it's really good. I don't think that I can currently afford it.
Would you say it's one of the best? Would you say it's like a top 5 area control game?
Man, that category is so crowded.
It is.
I like that it does some different stuff. I like the fact that it's very deterministic. It's got these NPCs that you're fighting in the middle of the board, and it's so asymmetrical. I feel like that's the reason. One of the main reasons that I actually like the game is the fact that every single one of those factions feels extremely different. Like the bugs are spamming stuff all over the board, but they're like literally spamming stuff all over the board, and their guys are like not worth crap. Like they just die instantly. And then you have dragons that like level up, and then you have like boars that are like building barricades and tunneling through mountains and doing stuff like that. Then you have robots that can upgrade with like missiles, and they have really high attack, but they're kind of like glass cannons. They can get killed right back pretty easy, but if they strike you first, they'll take you down. I mean, we only played a game with 4 of the factions, but so far it just seems so asymmetrical, like even more than most games. And it's very different because the combat's very much like you go into that combat and you know how it's going to end out, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's interesting. It's definitely different. But yeah, I mean, if you're already having a lot of trouble getting a lot of your other area control games to the table, or you already have other area control games you need to play more, I mean, it's hard to say for each person, like if it's.
Well, here's the thing. So we submitted our stuff this week for our taxes,
Oh, and you got that number?
and I saw how much I've spent last year and so far already this year on Kickstarter, and I was just kind of like, oh, okay. And my wife and I,
Had a heart to heart?
we had a heart to heart, and here was her thing. She was like, look, I love you, and I love that you love the hobby, and I'm not trying to say, don't buy games, but are you spending all this money on games that you're going to play a lot, or are you spending all this money on games that you're just excited about?
Yeah.
And it was just kind of like one of those gut punches, because it was like one of those like reality talks, where
That's
it wasn't
the thing,
like,
man, you have to get the guys together or form a coalition of people to get these games played, because I know your current group that you're able to actually get together is like party game with church group people. So
well, yeah, I mean, that's
it's
like
all
when
about getting the people that can actually get to the table.
The 3 or 4 people I can get together and play. Like, I'm excited to introduce to them Mansions of Madness.
Yeah.
And so, but anyway, just after our talk this week, like she has some good points, and even like at Recon this past weekend, I sold some games that were still in shrink, and so she's like, I understand you're doing this, but look how much money you've spent over the last year on this, and she doesn't know how much I've spent already this year, because this year's talk next
taxes,
year. Yeah. Because that's when we print off all the accounts and go through everything for the write-off. So here's my thing. I love area control. It's probably one of my favorite types of games and stuff like that. But I already have some pretty cool area control games. And just because the game's old doesn't mean it's bad, type of a thing. And so I'm just trying to think, is it really worth it? Like, is it one of those games, Roy, where you're thinking like, man, it's like a top 10 area control game or something like that? Because I don't mind getting it if it will replace other area control games.
I feel like it could replace other area control games, but it's also a very crowded genre, And the reason it can replace other ones is because it is different enough. It's not like the
factions are unique enough where
the fact that it plays very different. I feel like Matt would love that game a lot, just because like the way the combat
but it's a lot
works.
to take that.
What? Yeah, but it's also very much like mathing out what's the best thing to do to score these objectives, and the fact that the combat's not random, it's completely deterministic. I feel like Matt would like dig getting in there and figuring out how to use his faction the best. I can just see, I don't know, that sort of thing happening, Have you looked at that game at all, Matt?
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat that Rob is, in that like I think it looks interesting, but I'm just not really. I don't like my area control games are Rising Sun and Blood Rage,
right?
And that's pretty much it. Lords of Hellas, I guess, but like
still haven't got my copy of that, by the way.
That's disgusting, actually.
It is.
It'll come in one day. But like my concern with Tsukiyomi specifically is it looks really interesting and stuff, but my brain is sort of putting it in the same category that like Cry Havoc is, and that it's an area control game that I actually really liked and thought was really cool and did a lot of unique things. But it was just something that I didn't feel like I could get to the table or drum up any interest.
Gotcha.
Or maybe you play 1 or 2 times.
Yeah.
But is that worth dropping $100+ on? Because granted, the Kickstarter, you're getting a bunch of extra stuff, and I understand that. I'm getting a bunch of extra stuff, but if I just bought the retail for the base game at like let's say 75 or 100, and I saved myself $50+, am I going to play it enough to experience all the extra stuff? Because like Western Legends, I love Western Legends. I think it's a fantastic game, and I've played it multiple times now, but I have yet to play it with the expansion stuff or even the Man in Black stuff yet, because typically when I play Western Legends, I'm playing with new people, right? Like maybe this year at Cabin Con, we'll play with some of the new stuff and the new expansion, because I think that was a huge hit last year. But like with me, I'm not always playing with the same people, so I'm always teaching the same game to a lot of new people. And so it's like, at the end of the day, do I really need all this stuff if I'm never really going to get to the table? And I think you make a great point, Matt, about Cry Havoc. I still have not played my copy of Cry Havoc, and I can't even sell my copy of Cry Havoc.
Oh, you can't even get rid of it? Dude, I've also had so many people like try to trade me Cry Havoc like crazy, and I'm just kind of like, I'd probably just play Rising Sun.
And the thing is, like, Cry Havoc's a good game. I really liked how they did combat.
It looks great. I want to play it.
I don't know. It doesn't have that, like, I guess, wow factor. Like, so, like, Rob, you were talking about how, like, the Kickstarter exclusives, you might not necessarily want them. And so I feel like nowadays you're looking at a game going, is this going to be like the Blood Rage type of game where if you bought it at retail and at the Kickstarter, are you going to be looking for these exclusive miniatures that are going to cost, an arm and a leg to get because you really want the full game experience? Or is it going to be something that you're fine being just part of the way there with, I guess?
Yeah, that's the problem. Is Blood Rage? I'm not fine with that, right? Because
Blood Rage
stuff is so good. Right. However, Gray Fox is not known for being as strict on their exclusive stuff like other companies. Mm-hmm. Like I've gotten things from Gray Fox exclusively that was exclusive at conventions and cons, and that's one thing I do like about Gray Fox is they actually go to a lot of cons and sell their stuff. And a lot of the cons that I go to, like the bigger ones, they always have a booth there where I can get that extra, bonus thing. So I'm not as worried about missing out on something with Gray Fox, as I am with like a Cool Mini or not. And the other thing is I've recently learned in chat that our extended family, Matt, I would say they are extended family, right?
Yeah.
Like they are, like they're absolutely amazing. I love these people, but our extended family is buying, or they are backing it. Even though he literally brought 6 tubs worth of games to sell at Recon.
Wait. Did he sell his copy of Shadows over Camelot?
I don't believe so. And thank you for changing the microphone settings because I sound terrible.
I was trying to raise the levels.
But yeah, our extended family is backing it. We're talking about Kent Parker and Courtney Parker. Such great people. We got to play with them a lot this weekend. We'll talk about that. But anyway, I wanted to know about Tsukiyumi. Thank you so much. I think I've made my decision.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the same boat. Money's tight, and so you got to figure out where it is. So.
Well, it's not so much.
And for me, it's like if I'm gonna get an $100 game, I'm probably gonna go for the as long as it's good, the new Lord of the Rings cooperative game or whatever. So.
Mine's not so much the money thing; it's the responsible thing.
Gotcha. Is it actually going to get played?
That was and that's the worst, right? Because it's not like the I'm mad at you talk; it's I'm disappointed. Like when you're married in that relationship, it's just like, babe, I'm not even upset. I just want you to be responsible. It's like crap. Like I can't argue with that when you're looking at the numbers and things like that. So. Yeah. Christopher, I agree with you. Western Legends, I've gotten my money back. I love the game. I enjoyed it a lot. My point about Western Legends, though, was playing with the additional content.
I don't know why you haven't, because I don't feel like that's going to be something that you can't play with new people. Like, if it's just new weapons and stuff, I think that'd be simple to throw in there,
Yeah, no, but it's new characters, and I think there's some different game modes. Like, you can do the Legend mode, where your character actually gets different abilities, and you now have different win conditions and stuff like that.
Oh, crazy!
And so I like that idea, and I want to try it out. But I'll try that out with people that have already played before. Yeah, but anyway, it's a fantastic game.
Cool. Well, I also wanted to talk about a game that I actually played just today. And this is.
Is this what you were telling me about that I'll like?
Yeah. This is a game that's for pre-release, and it's called Oathbreaker. This is Game of Thrones Oathbreaker. This is a social deduction game set literally in the Game of Thrones universe, the HBO Game of Thrones universe, and it was actually really exciting and interesting. There's a video of us playing it live on the Dice Tower. This feels a lot to me sort of like Hail Hydra, but Game of Thrones, but it's also quite different at the same time. It's got some interesting aspects. So basically each player, you have one player that is the king for the round or for the game. And then you have other players that all play Game of Thrones characters from different houses. You're like typical suspects in there, Someone can be Cersei, another person can be Stannis, and another person could be Arya, that sort of thing, or Ned Stark. And each board is like double-sided for each house, that they could be like one character from the house or another character from the house. But the way this game works is that there's two different groups. There's the loyalist, and what is the other one called? It's not conspirators. It's something along that line, but it's like the people that are trying to like drum up trouble. But the loyalists are working with the king to try to like raise order on this board. You have a track that goes around with just points. And there's an order marker and a chaos marker, and there's going to be missions each turn that you're going to be laying out, and everybody has cards that they're going to be trying to play out to make these like quests like pass or fail. It's really interesting because the king, their entire job is just to, if they first pick who's going to be the first player, and their whole job is literally just to pay attention to what's going on and then guess whether people are loyal or not. And you're going to be given these cards that can basically say, hey, you're a loyalist, or hey, you're a conspirator trying to sabotage the throne. And you're going to be placing those cards in front of people, and those are going to be extra chaos or order points depending on if you got it correct at the end of the game. But there's going to be a whole bunch of times that you have to guess and vote, and you can't guess for the same person for any of those things more than once. So during the game, you're going to be putting out these cards in front of people, saying that they're good or bad in your opinion as the king. Then at the end of the game, all those cards you put out are going to turn into chaos points or order points depending on whether you got it wrong or right. And you're trying to have order be ahead of chaos. In the meantime, each round, players are playing out cards, and they're saying whether they played good to a certain mission or bad to a certain mission, because it's a little bit like Secret Hitler-ish or Hail Hydra, where you don't always have the right cards to put into something. So sometimes you have to tank missions just because like you don't have the opportunity. But there's like 2 to 3 missions you're always going for at the same time. So you can talk together being like, hey, I'm tanking this one. We should just all tank this one to get rid of the bad cards in our hand and try to pass this other one and be good. But of course, then the conspirators might try to throw that off and mess you up. It was pretty cool because it felt like Game of Thronesy in all the quests you're doing, and the fact that the king's trying to figure out who's on his side and who's trying to stab him in the back. And it was a lot of fun playing with the guys. And you can definitely, if you math out what's being played down, you can kind of figure out who's playing what and who's lying. And I really enjoyed that about it. But yeah, we had some people from the podcast and from just knowing me in chat trying to tell everybody not to trust me the whole time. So,
very smart. Very, very, very smart.
But we got halfway. We got like to like the very end of like the last round, and like the king thought I was good. The other 2 loyal people both thought I was good, and they kind of mistrust each other. And then I was like, we're not failing enough, so I just like completely trashed like the last 2 missions. And then they're like, guys, I don't think Roy's good anymore. So, but it was fun. It was a lot of fun. And then I got to play as the king, and that was a lot of fun too, because I pegged who was bad like real quick. Well,
so is
I
that
pegged
like
one
the
person
main
who was
difference?
bad real quick.
Is that the main difference between that and Hail Hydra? Like one person being designated as like the main lord or something? Because
Yes,
Hail Hydra,
it's kind of interesting
everybody's
because you have these cards that you have to play on people, and they have like abilities too. Like you give it to a person and it lets them draw a card, or they have to play like their next round, they have to play face up. But you have to hand out like 2 of these cards to like each person. So it's like the first round, if everybody's playing good, you might not necessarily know who's bad. And if you give a white card, a loyal card to a bad person, it's going to push up the chaos. And if you give a bad card to a good person, it's going to push up the chaos. So you're trying to make sure you're giving the right cards to the right person. So you have to pay attention to the game like closely to try to figure out who's who. And you can kind of figure that out a little bit with what people are saying, but if everybody's playing good, the order's going to go up a lot, but you're not going to know necessarily who's who until they flip that switch and start wrecking you. There's also like it has like a little bit of a Dead of Winter effect where like you have a certain, when certain missions are completed, you'll get different like either gold or like honor or power tokens, and you'll get a roll at the beginning of the game where you have to have a certain number of those to win the game. So you kind of are trying to figure out how to go to win the right locations to be able to get that honor and stuff. But then, like, at the end, like, get to that point, and then if you're a bad guy, you just tank it. Because there's actually more conspirators in the game than there are loyal people. Like, when we played 6 players. There was 1 king, 2 loyal people, and 3 conspirators. So majority of the people at the table are bad. And you know that, but you got to figure out the ones that are actually good. So it was very interesting, and I felt it was unique enough. And I feel like, Rob, you would have a blast playing this game if you got into it, just because, like, you really like that theme, and it plays a lot of those mechanics that we've sort of seen a little bit of here and there, but it has like a different twist on a lot of it as well. So that's Oathbreaker, Game of Thrones Oathbreaker. It's actually coming out through Direwolf Games, which is a video game company. Renegade is helping them put it out, so it's Renegade Games. But yeah, if they end up having this in the Dice Tower library at like Dice Tower Con or something like that, like, we should totally play it.
I may pick it up like later or something. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it sounds interesting and stuff like that. I'd want to play it first before I bought it. I'd love to teach
it to you guys because I think it's fun.
My only thing is like social deduction games.
There's so many of them, right?
Well, there are so many, and a lot of the people that I play with are like not into the IPs that I'm into, and really? Detective Murder in Hong Kong is the easiest because there's really no IP except for somebody got killed. Who did it?
Right. It's CSI is the IP. It's Crime Scene Investigation. Actually, the original game was called like CI something. The original Murder at Hong Kong.
But it sounds cool. It sounds like, something fun at a con or something like that with like other, nerdy people that can get into the IP and stuff like that. So cool.
Sweet.
Adam Sparks joins us. Look at this guy.
Hello, hello.
That's
I
what
want to hear what you guys played at Recon. I saw a picture. I was like, did they end up going? Were they there? And I saw a picture, and I saw in the background, I first saw Matt from the back. I was like, oh, there's Matt's hair. And then I saw Mark Cale's head. I'm like, what the crap is that? Ugh. No, I'm just kidding.
Handsome Mark.
And then I was like, oh, there's Rob at the corner, and oh, there's Kent. I was like, oh, it's everybody. The whole gang's playing at the same table together.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will say real quick, we did go to Recon. We had a phenomenal time. But I want to do a shout out to a little kid. I cannot remember his name. And I feel terrible for not remembering this little kid's name.
Yeah.
But it was like towards the end of the night, and him and his dad, they listened to the show, and this kid was like so excited to see us. And I'm not trying to be funny about this or anything like that, but he was like, oh my goodness, like he was shaking a little bit. He was nervous. He wanted to take our picture and stuff like that. And I'm like, kid, literally, I am not what you think I am. Like, thank you so much. And I was
Dude,
like,
he was just struck by the handsomeness.
He was excited to see us and wanted to take our picture, and he was cool little kid and cool dad. And so to dad and kid, you know who you guys are because we took our picture with you. Thank you so much for putting up with us. I don't know why you still put up with us. I don't know why we put up with it. I don't even know why my wife puts up with it. So I don't get it. But thank you so much for listening. That made my con, and it wasn't that somebody took their picture with me, but it was like genuine excitement. And I thought, okay, like this is really cool. Like genuine excitement. We had a couple of other people come up and say hello. And always love meeting fans of the show. And I appreciate everybody that comes up. But this little kid, he was just like, I mean, Matt, would you not agree? He was like uber excited.
He was super excited.
He was like, Roy, if you would have been there, he probably would have died.
Did he recognize Matt?
Oh, they knew exactly who both of us were.
That's awesome.
Yeah, there was no questions, no ifs, ands, or buts. And so I'm thinking like, oh my gosh, if Roy's here, this kid would go into a seizure or something, like epileptic shock. He's already shaking. And I kept messing with Mark throughout the day. I was like, hey, man, like, when you go to Florida to go see your boo, Roy's not here. Is that okay? Are you okay with that? Is Roy, are you comfortable with that? So anyway, I just want to say shout out to all those people and to that young man. Appreciate you, sir.
Nice.
Matt, you want to go first?
Sure, man. Let's see. I'm trying to remember all the games that I did play. I remember specifically we played Blood Rage. We played Wingspan, which is, I don't know. I really, really, really like Wingspan, like a lot. It's very good.
Did you end up getting a copy of it, or?
Yeah, whenever it comes back in, I'll probably buy it.
Oh, gotcha. Cool, cool.
Roy, check the chat.
I see it.
Really?
I haven't played.
Keep going, Matt.
Someday.
Which I talked
someday
about it.
soon.
I talked about it previously of why I like it, but I just feel like it's a good engine builder and it's a really good sort of intro game. It's super lightweight. Like if everybody knows what they're doing, you can bang a game out in 30 minutes, which is weird for an engine building game. And me and Kim were talking about this, where I was just like, man, I wish it would just last like one more round, because I never like feel quite like, oh yeah, that was the best game ever, because I'm always just like, oh man, one more turn of that would be great. And then Kim was like, yeah, they, because he reads a lot of the like dev diaries and stuff like that, and he was saying that they were talking about balancing the game weight to get it to where it feels good. And it feels like you're just like, oh man, I just want to play that again. I just gotta do it again. So it's sort of like this addiction thing, where it's like some of the longer games we play. When you get done, you're like, cool, that was good.
You're satisfied. With Wingspan, you're saying you need more.
Yeah, like you just like when you get done, you're like, man, you know what we could do? We could just run it back real quick. That would be fun. Let's just try it again, because it plays so fast, and it's just. I don't know. It's real good.
Dude, I've really wanted to play it, because they have it like at the hot like games table at several things I've been to, like with the Dice Tower. But it's never ever empty. Like it is always just slammed. Every single seat is full. It's like I would have to like hover and then wait for like a whole group to finish before I'd be able to get into a game. And it's a thing.
Oh, you're too good to wait. You're too good to stick around and wait. I see how it is, sir.
Well, there's other people who come up and say they want to play a different game, so I play that with them.
Okay. Hey, Matt, what was that card game that we played? That social deduction card game? The red team, the blue team, and then like the Wastelanders.
Leaders of Euphoria.
Leaders of Euphoria. I like that game.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah, it was good.
But what else did you play?
There's the middle game, and I forgot the name of it, but it starts with a C.
That area control game that's not really...
Yeah, it's... Oh, God.
What's the theme?
You are a trader, and in the game you have a board where you're collecting cubes that represent either clay, iron, or wood, I believe. There we go. Kent's got it in chat.
Kalimalia.
Yeah, I would not have guessed.
But I played Kalamala, and it was honestly, it was kind of fun. Like looking at it, you definitely look at it and go, "Oh, okay, all right." You can tell it's sort of an older game, but it actually plays really interestingly. Like the way everything's sort of set up and it paces out is kind of neat, because there are tiles that represent what is going to score based off of who controls like the most in that area at that time.
Yeah.
And the way that works is like you put down a little disc on a communal action board that you want to do. And then if somebody wants to do the same action as you, they put their disc on top of yours. And then once there's 3 discs on there, if you add another one, you take the bottom disc off, and then that disc goes into the section of the scoring tiles. And there's 15, and they go in order. And whenever that gets placed, you immediately score whatever that is. So it makes for a really interesting game where you're trying to think about, okay, do I want to build a boat so that I can ship linen over here, or do I want to? I don't know. It's really an oddly crunchy game and complex. And I know Rob's kind of making fun of it about area control, but it sort of is, because you need to have a majority in these areas that you want to be scored in.
It's the ethnos of area control games.
Absolutely, it's the
there's a lot of Euro area control games. That's a very common thing, actually. I played a bunch of that.
When they
stuff.
pulled this game out, see, I had to leave the recon for a little bit to go do some work because I don't get days off. I was so happy that they decided to play this game. It was the dumbest looking game ever.
You're like, hey, I didn't feel like I was missing out.
I did not. And then Kent's like, no, Rob, it really is area control. I'm like, sure, Slender Man. Sure. Sure it is. The only thing that gave me a little hope on it is Courtney, who's like, yes, Robert, it really is. And I was like, okay, I can trust Courtney. And I didn't trust Matt because he had never played, so he didn't know. But coming back, he was like, hey, actually, it really is. So it's a pretty simple, plain-looking board type of a thing. But they all had a lot of fun playing it.
It's a very interesting style of game, and I almost would like to see a lot of the mechanics that were in that game sort of applied to other games, because I think it in itself was really good and fun and had a lot of thinky bits to it where it will give you pause for thought, but when you pull something off, you feel really good about it, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Nice.
Yeah, area control and area majority is like a huge... I mean that's actually a big thing in like a lot of Euro games and stuff. Or a lot of the ones that I've played back in the day.
Well, I played a Euro game this weekend. Euro.
Did you play Brass?
I got to play Brass Birmingham.
Now I'm wondering how you felt about this. I was wondering.
Not the other Brass.
So Birmingham's the new one or the old one?
So, no, the new one came out with two different editions. I think one is like Lancashire, and then there's Birmingham.
Right, one is a reprint of the old version, and then the other one's the new one.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
Birmingham's the new one. Lancashire is the
Gotcha.
Okay. Well, I played Birmingham.
Cool.
In Blast Birmingham, you are trying to create... The easiest way I can describe this is you're trying to create as efficient a network as possible while using other people's established network, as long as it connects to your network, to create pottery or to create beer or to create coal or cotton. And then one was just like boxes, like moving shipments and stuff like that. And one was copper. So coal, copper, pottery, cotton, and one or two other things. I actually really, really liked it. The components, the board, everything in the game, absolutely gorgeous game. What I liked about the beer in the game, now I don't drink or anything like that, but based off of the timeline, if you wanted to move stuff and sell it, you had to bribe your workers into doing it, and you bribed them with beer. So you needed to have beer on the board to be able to have your workers move the things through your network to sell it at one of the cities that allowed sales, right? There were other like little towns and stuff, but there were certain cities around the edge of the board where you were able to sell things, but you needed to have your network connected to said city. And you couldn't sell if there wasn't beer on the board because nobody would transport it for you. So you're trying to bribe guys with beer. And Kent Parker did a total douche move to his wife, was not paying attention, and she was trying to do this big sale thing, and all of a sudden he stole everything from her, and Courtney was ticked. It was hilarious. She was like, you're going to walk home. Screw you. I don't know what's going on. I've never seen her upset before. And it was like one of those upsets, like if other people weren't here, Kent, we'd be having a real talk right now. But because people are here, I'm going to be nice. But anyway, so you're trying to get points. There's two ages in the game. The first age is a canal age, where you're literally using canals to transport your goods back and forth. Part of the cities, or some of the cities in the game, are only accessible via canal, so you can only do it in the first age. And then the second age is the railroad, or the steam age, and so you'll only be able to use the railroad system. Now, a lot of the board is accessible by railroad, but again, There are some of them that are exclusive railroad and exclusive canal. So there's only, I think, actually, I don't know if anything is exclusive canal, but I do know that there's a couple that are exclusive railroad. So you can only really access them in the second age. And the way that the game plays is everybody gets X amount of cards. I want to say you get 8 cards. And every action, you get 2 actions per turn. Or the very first round, you get 1 action. But then after that, you get 2 actions per turn. And every action costs you a card, whether you use that card to buy or sell something. It doesn't matter. You still have to discard a card to do an action. And then so you have the first round, full round. So there's turns within the round. You have 2 full rounds, and then you have many turns within each round. I loved it. It was a lot of fun. It is a lot to take in. It's a heavier Euro than what I'm used to. I would even say it's a little heavier than Terraforming Mars. But I still really enjoyed it. It was one of those games where I thought about it after I went home. I was like, man, this is one of those things that I really want to play again. And I think Matt would really enjoy it because he came in later while we were wrapping up. Like we had just started the second round or something like that. So he missed the canal age and stuff. And then I thought about it the next day on Sunday. I was like, man, I really want to play Brass again. Like that was it was really fun. I really liked the theme. And again, I felt like the theme and the artwork and everything went well with that theme for me, right? Because I'll get excited about it. It felt like the coal industrial era. And when you're paying guys to do the beer, I know that sounds so dumb, and for some people, they may not like that, but it just made sense. Back in that day, before Prohibition, you wanted stuff done, and you didn't have any money. Give the guys a drink, and they'll carry your stuff for you. And you're trying to move copper and coal. I just thought it was super cool. And then the whole network. I ended up not coming in last place. I was actually kind of surprised by that because I played with myself, Kent Parker, Courtney Parker, and Mark Kale. All 3 of them had played before. All 3 of them had played multiple times before. So I knew going in, I was like, Robert, you're not going to win. Like, no way. All 3 of these people are Euro players, and they've all played this game multiple times. So just enjoy yourself. And I did not come in last place. I actually scored pretty well because one of the things that you can do is as you're building up your network, every time a good is sold. And so you put, like, let's say I put coal down, right, Roy?
Yeah.
So the game has got a give and take. If you buy a coal area and that coal's got so many cubes on it, before you can sell it or flip it, you need those coal pieces to be off of that. Like the people need to use the coal that you just put down. Mm-hmm. So you're putting it down so you can use it, but you also want other people to use it because if they use it, then you get to flip over and you score the points. Now the downside is you don't get to use that coal, but the upside is you get the victory points, you get the money, you get to move up on X. So it's kind of like you're all helping each other, but you're not helping each other, and that's what happened with Kent and Courtney. Courtney had done some stuff, and like her next turn, she was going to be able to do some major stuff, and Kent used it all, and she was like, rah! And like, was so mad, but it was hilarious. It was a lot of fun. And so I like that about the game because when you're planning stuff out, there's a little bit of a press your luck type of that, where I hope I do it properly, where I'm able to use this again, or I'm taking a chance. I hope there's enough beer on the map, and I'm connected to said beer, and everybody else doesn't do it, so I can sell this. Because at the end of the game, Courtney was asking us, guys, is anybody going to pull out beer? I've got to be able to sell this thing, and I need this. And Mark Kale, what a douche, but it was so hilarious. Mark Kale was like, hey, man, I'm before you. I'm going to put out beer. Don't worry about it, right? And the name I'm talking about, Mike, is called Brass Birmingham. So Mark does go before Courtney. And Mark does put out beer on his first turn. But then on his second turn, he uses all the beer. So, like, what Courtney would what she set up for on the game, on the turn before that, and everyone's like, we're going to put out beer, which I was the last person to go that round, so it didn't affect me. She was all excited, and when it got to her turn, she couldn't do anything. And just the look on her face was like, Kent and Mark, you guys can just, like, you're terrible. It was a lot of fun. Also, another cool mechanic in the game. I did not get last. I'm not going to say who got. I'm not going to say who got last, but I actually scored pretty well because when you flip over stuff and you get your points for flipping over something, if you have a canal connected to it or a railroad connected to it, you also get network points. And every spot that has got a bunch of flipped over goods or sold goods, you get so many points that are on that chip. Well, there's this one place, Birmingham, which is actually in the title of the game, that has 4 different places that you can sell on there. I had that entire place circled. And so, like in that one area, I scored like 30-something points just off of that, which, I mean, that's a lot of points in the game to be able to do that. And so I had like a cool little network, and I was able to. It took me the first half of the first round to get the game.
So what you're telling me is Kent's having to go to marital counseling just so you didn't have to get last place. That's what you're telling me.
No, Kent's having to go to marital counseling because he doesn't pay attention to his wife and he doesn't listen. And it had nothing to do with me. I took advantage of it, and the look on Courtney's face was like, bro. It was not a happy look, and I wasn't going to say it, but Kent did.
I knew what it was as soon as you weren't going to say it, because if it was Mark Kale, you would have like dogged him.
Mark got last. Mark actually ended up winning the game. Mark went for some.
How did you let that happen?
Well, again, I never played the game before, and I didn't know pottery scores you a lot of points. The problem with pottery is it's limited on the board. There's not really a lot of pottery places, and so he
focused trying to say is Mark Kale invested in pot, and that's how he won.
He invested in pot, and he won. Yes, but it was such a great game, such a beautiful game. Really had a lot of fun playing brass, Birmingham. And so I definitely want to get that one to the table. Last thing about the game, each round or each turn, right? So everybody does their turns. And the more money you spend on that turn, like if you spend a little bit amount of money, you'll go first the next turn. But if you spend a lot of money, it pushes you into the back of the line. Because the game like rewards you if you can get a lot of stuff done with not spending any money. Like, are you good with your money? You can also take loans out against you. And if you take loans, you actually lose like victory points and money. So you have to go back X amount of spaces and you'll get money because the game is expensive. Like you're spending big bucks to make big bucks. So it's a back and forth, a give and take. I think you'd like it too, Roy. It is a little heavy. And I also think it was fun because of the people I was playing with. Because I was playing, like, we were all into it. We were all like having a good time. Like I wouldn't want to play with people that were very dry.
Right.
Like we were giving each other a hard time. We were having fun. We were joking around.
That might be part of my problem with a lot of these Euro games is my experience with playing them was with actual dry people at like the meetup and stuff. So it's kind of like, cool, great. That was not fun. Okay. I mean, I actually half the time I'd win and be like, okay, but I don't want to play that again. So.
Jordan, I don't remember his exact score, but his point marker, I want to say he lapped the board, or he almost lapped the board. Like he scored a lot. I know on his pottery stuff alone, he scored like 40-something points off of just that, and that's kind of like ridiculous. Even Courtney and Kent were kind of blown away on how many points he got from his sales.
Well, that is one of the things about those kind of games. Sometimes if they're like, okay, well, if you've played it a lot, or this is a certain strategy to take, if you know that how to go into the game right from the beginning, you're probably gonna win.
Well, and I asked them about that. I was like, can you do this every time? And they were like, yes and no. There are ways that we could have blocked Mark, or we could have done other things, because there's things that you can put out.
Oh no, Mark's here now. Stop talking about him.
Yeah, and so when it's limited on your space, right? If we all would have gone for pottery, not everybody would have scored as much because you're limited on how many spaces you have. And so it was, it was one of those things where you can stop other people. There's not just a certain, I don't believe there's not just like a certain way. If you do this every single time, you're going to win every single time. And so I like that, and there's, again, press your luck, where Courtney tried to make some luck happen and it just didn't work out for her. And Kent tried to do some stuff. And there were a couple times where it didn't work out for him. And I think we all just thought, no way Mark's going to win this thing, that nobody paid attention to him. And that was our own fault. Just our ignorance let Mark win type of thing. No, but Mark's a good player. We had a good time. And he made these great little FAQ sheets and, first-time helper sheets, for like the the non-Euro players like me, so I appreciate that. But anyway, great game, Brass, Birmingham. You know who I'd be scared to play this game with? I'd be scared to play this game with Ambi.
Oh, yeah.
Like, Ambi would scare... oh, man. Like, I could see her and her husband just like... And I'm like, oh crap.
You done got mathed.
Yeah, like, hardcore. Like, Ambi intimidates me.
I'm going to statistically analyze this game. Done. Bye, Ambi.
Yeah, have a good night, Ambi.
Good night.
But yeah, anyway, great time. And always fun hanging out with Kent and Courtney and Mark. Good people. We were talking about doing like a little meetup, just them and then me and Matt together. So anyway, that's it.
Nice. So y'all didn't end up playing Shadows over Camelot?
Well, I had to leave, and then they played other games.
Disappointing.
And
you had one job. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, he didn't sell it, and so I sort of fulfilled my job, was to show him the awesomeness of it so he wouldn't sell it.
Does that mean we have to play Shadows over Camelot at Dice Tower Con?
We might. I don't know. We're probably going to be playing a lot of different games. In fact, we were joking about that at the end of the recon. Is like, hey, we were all joking about, sorry for like stealing you for another con, but like to that point, and I said to them, and I'll say it here, if I'm having a fun time with you, I don't care if we keep playing the same games, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't need to play with brand new people every single game. If I know I enjoy your company and I know we're going to laugh and have a good time and we're just going to enjoy life, like we're not taking it too seriously, it's just a board game, unless it's a spouse fight. Spouse fights are hilarious, and that's why it was funny between Kent and Courtney. Like, I enjoy your company, and so, because we played primarily with them like the whole time. Not that we were ignoring other people, but after we played Brass, we're like, oh, let's play this, and everyone was like, yeah. So I imagine the same thing will happen at Dice Tower Con, but there'll be other games that we want to play. Like, I definitely want to do Werewolf Legacy and some other big stuff. And anyway, sorry, I could talk all night.
I do think Saturday at Dice Tower Con is going to be pretty free of events, from what Mr. Vassal has told me. So
I think we should do Werewolf Legacy at night, though.
Right. I mean, we could do it like Saturday night, because then we could start it a little bit earlier, and then not have to. I won't have to like go to like a game show or like.
Well, what if we did it crazy. Friday night after your stuff, so that way you could like sleep
super late? I mean, that's fine too. Either way.
So anyway, we'll see. We'll plan it all out as we plan our scavenger hunt and all that other kind of stuff. But yeah, we're super excited. And of course, Nick, I'll play with you. Nick, I want to touch you. I want to hold your hand. I want to hug you. You're one of the coolest people I know, Nick. I really mean that. Sorry.
Yeah, I heard about Blood on the Clock Tower. I didn't actually look into it that much, but there was a Reddit post about that video you're talking about, Kent, and people were mad. So I thought it was kind of interesting. But,
what did they say about the Shut Up and Sit Down? Were they saying it was good or bad? Or
well, they just said it was a very atypical review for them, so it was kind of interesting. I was reading. People were like, how is this really expensive social deduction game that good? Anyway, we'll see.
All I know is that the only thing I know about it is that around 3 or 4 o'clock this afternoon, my email blew up with all the game developers that I follow going, hey, yo, we backed this game on Kickstarter. And I was like, okay, I guess I should check it out. And then I haven't yet, because I don't need to back any more Kickstarters.
I mean, it's probably good. But yeah, that's exactly it, Jordan. It's so expensive, though. There you go. Dude, it's like
favorite game of all time. I'm gonna have to check that out. We'll see.
Do we go into the topic now? We spent a whole hour talking about games.
We just call this the catch-up podcast, and then just
we missed Matt so much. We had to talk about all the games, and we had to have.
Well, man, like we had a good time about that.
Yeah.
We played Brass. We played Blood Rage, which I went out of my way to not win Blood Rage. I really did.
Really? Why would you go out of your way to not win? You just tried different things.
I did. I tried a bunch of different things I've never done before. And I still had a good time. we played that social deduction game. What was it called again, Matt?
Leaders of Euphoria.
Have you ever played that, Roy?
No, actually, I mean the name, like Euphoria, is the name of a different game. So, but I don't know exactly what that is.
So, Leaders of Euphoria.
Oh,
what
okay.
is it? I'll let Matt explain it. You go, because I just did a whole thing on brass.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Leaders of Euphoria is based off of Euphoria, the actual Stonemaier game. And basically, it plays similar to Good Cop, Bad Cop, but it's got a bit more sort of going on under the hood. There's not like items and stuff like Good Cop, Bad Cop has, but you basically have three.
Good Cop, Bad Cop in a long time.
Kent laid it out, and we were sitting it down, and I was like, man, what does this game remind me of? But the similarity is that you have 3 roll cards that are dealt out in front of you. You could either be a Euphorian or a Subterran, I believe, are the 2 different types. And so each of those, the majority of what you have in front of you is your faction, unless you have one of the leader cards. And if you have the leader card, you're just that no matter what. And then on your turn, you have some artifacts that are in your hands that are some items that you can use. And you do that before anything else. And then I think you have 5 different actions that you can choose from, which are basically just like look at somebody else's card secretly, put it back in the same spot, pick up a ray gun, point the ray gun at somebody, shoot the ray gun if you happen to already have it picked up, or hide one of your people in case they get flipped over. And they get flipped over from a variety of things. If somebody shoots you, you have to flip over all your cards and reveal them. And if you use an artifact, in order to do that, you have to flip over one of your roll cards. So the goal is to flip over and expose one of the leaders, and then to shoot them with the ray gun. And then you win. But if you get shot and you're not a leader, you become part of a different faction. Like you become a
Wastelanders.
Yeah, and then they win by killing either one of the leaders. So then you have this sort of like weird third thing going on, so that there's not any actual player elimination at all.
Interesting.
But I don't know, it was a super fun, super cute little game. The artifacts are all like very common household items. Like one of them is a baseball bat that was called like the Stick of Persuasion or something. Yeah. Like they're all just sort of have these like cute little
like
clever
the trash
names.
can lid was a deflector of energy or something like that if you're getting shot with a laser beam.
And so a lot of times there wasn't like a whole lot to it. So I think we played it maybe 2-3 times. And by the second or third game, we had already seen what all the artifact cards are. So we were wondering, like, oh, man, somebody pointed the ray gun at this guy. I wonder if he has this or this. One of the other things that you can do is you can give artifacts to another player. So prospectively, if you have something that would save somebody, you can give it to them. Or, you know, yada, yada, yada. But, I don't know. This is really fun. It's a really quick little production game that you just plop down and...
I jumped in after they had already played. I got back in time, and I saw them playing. It looked fun. It looked cool, and we played it a couple times. And Mark, he pulled a Roy on me. It was my first game, and
why is it called
you
pulling
get to
a Roy?
like Matt said, he tricked me. And that's what I mean by that.
I call that being good at social deduction games.
No, I call that as I should trust you because you're my friend, but I shouldn't because you're my friend. That's what I call it.
Hey, we're on the same team. It's all good.
Well, that's what he told me because, like, right, you get to look at a card, right, to see if you're on the same team. And he had flipped over one of his cards to use an artifact, and he was on there, and it showed a red guy. And so I was like, great, all my guys are red guys. And so he looked at one of my cards and he said, hey, glad we're on the same team, brother. And I was like, all right, like I don't have to worry about Mark. But if you have, like, let's say you have 2 red guys, but then you've got the blue leader, that automatically makes you the blue team because you have the leader card. Gotcha. So you either have to have the majority in a color or the leader card of said team. And I was like, Great. Mark's on my team. I don't have to worry about Mark. Mark was the stupid blue leader. Ended up killing Kent, who was actually my real red leader. And I was like, what are you doing? What's going on? And I never, I could have stopped it had I known he was the bad guy, because I could have given Kent a card to stop it. And it didn't happen, and Kent got shot, and we lost. And I was like, you Roy Kennedy, you... Just because he's not here doesn't mean you need to embody who he is. Like, you terrible, terrible little person, you. But it was a lot of fun. We ended up playing a couple times. And it was one of those where I think it worked well with that amount of players. Like, we had 5. I don't know how much more it would add if you played with more than 5. But for, a quick social deduction game, I think every game lasted anywhere between 5 and 10 minutes.
Nice.
Super quick, but a lot of fun. And it was just kind of nice, letting your brain calm down from playing a big game like Brass or whatever their Chameleon, whatever, Camellia, Kukaluku, whatever it was.
Kalamala.
Chameleon, I like that better. Anyway, so it was a fun little game. So, it was a great weekend, man. It was. And hats off to Recon and Luke and everybody. They did a great job, and I know they got another one coming up in September.
And spring.
So, yeah, and so it was a good time. It was a good time. If you didn't get a chance to go to Recon this weekend, go this next weekend.
Yeah.
Or that's next weekend. Go in the fall.
I think it's awesome because it's literally a free to attend event. Anybody can just go in there, hang out, and play games, but they sell food and concessions, and all of the proceeds for that go to Abro, which is a relief organization for kids from Russia who were affected by the Chernobyl event and are trying to bring them to get away from the radiation and learn some English and try to help them extend their lives just by getting away from just the radiation stuff. And they ended up raising I think they said $1,900, so $1,900 just by selling snacks and concessions, and with the sales of games and stuff like that, because a percentage from the things like that. It's just awesome. That's a free event that can still give to charity as well. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and they help. Mike was saying. A lot of these kids, when they bring them over, they haven't been to doctors. They haven't been to the dentist, so they don't have vaccines. They haven't, been any type of dental care. And so all this money that's going to it is actually helping these kids to get a lot of medical care, and also be in an area where it's not as crazy or hectic, for summer. And and so I think that's really cool that they're able to do that. And 100% of the proceeds go to that charity.
Yeah. It's they don't keep anything back.
Keep any of it.
It's 100%.
It's a very selfless, amazing thing that they do, that they volunteer for. So
I think it's so crazy, just because Mike was super big into board games, but then Luke was big into it too, and just hey, we all like board games. Let's do this board game thing. So I'm glad that ended up working out. I saw that they did a bunch of giveaway, a bunch of random games from my collection stuff. But then did they have stuff for the library as well there too?
They did have stuff for the library. I was kind of mad though. This year I went pretty heavy in on the buying the tickets to get a game, and I did not get the game that I went pretty heavy in.
Oh, that was the Night's Watch thing?
Yeah, man. But at the same time, I did buy Trevor's copy from him. I was hoping to have 2, so I could build a pretty big army. I bought 30 tickets, and 29 of my tickets went into that. I was like, I need to win this. I
saw you hit up the guy. He's like, hey, well, we should play sometime.
Yeah, did you like that? Did you like that little response? My initial response was like, bro, why'd you steal my game? That's my game.
Your second response should be hey.
My response in my head was that way, but online it was like, yeah, let's play sometime.
Yeah.
And I would love to play. I hopefully, in the summer, things will slow down, and I'll be able to play some more games. But I really love it. In fact,
are you gonna bounce to CMON Expo?
I'm gonna try to, just because the box is in there. It's $110 box.
Me and Sam will be there.
Yeah, but my problem is like I may literally drive Saturday, go for an hour or two, and then leave. And then here's the other thing.
Make sure to give me a high five if I'm there at the time. Text me, be like, Roy, give me a high five real quick.
I mean, I would love to play with you and Sam. But you guys are like, when you're there, you're going to be super busy. Like, I don't know if you're going to have time for a little person like me.
We are planning on trying to record content and junk like that, so it's just like, ugh.
So, like, if I set something up ahead of time where we could do like a 3-way game of Song of Ice and Fire, would you even play, or are you guys too busy?
I mean, I would. I think Sam actually likes that game a lot too, but he just hasn't played it that much. Do whatever they need to give me a undead faction in that game. How about some Night King faction?
Awesome. Zachary. Shout out to Zachary and purple-haired moms all over the world. You guys are awesome. And you're not a dork. You're amazing. So, Zach Attack. Go to bed. It's past your bedtime. If you're awake right now and you're listening to this, you're in trouble. It's a school night.
Spring break's over. Go back to bed.
Right. So go to bed. But besides that, Zach, thank you so much for coming and saying hello. And moms that dye their hair different colors, you rock. So anyway, I want to play. If you guys, Roy, if you tell me that we can play like a game, because I want to do the tournaments and stuff. I just don't know if I'm going to be able to sign up and do all that stuff. And I don't want to pay like $200 for a room for one night. Like I really don't. So
just sleep with Sam. I mean, okay.
Just what?
We'll just crash Sam's room. No, I'm just kidding.
Rob just kicks in the door. Hey, you.
I'll text you. We'll see what happens.
We'll talk.
Okay.
We'll talk, because if that's the case, then I may come down a day earlier. Because I would love to play.
Yeah.
Hey, do you know, at CMON are they going to keep like the library open, or at least the gaming area open?
I think
for like the full day.
They closed it at like midnight or 1 last time.
So you have to leave the room?
Yeah, at like 1, I think, was what they made us do, or like at midnight.
Which I get it, because they have all of their retail content in there,
right.
And like that's not fair to keep.
They closed the retail stuff way before that. I think like
8 o'clock they closed retail, 8 or 9.
And then they shut down the demos at like 8 or whatever. But last year they let up on a lot of the stuff that we were not too keen on, and you could play whatever games you want. They had a library of all sorts of different games again, like they had before. I ended up playing like a bunch of random games. I played like 5-Minute Dungeon, and I played the Thanos game,
Thanos Rising,
and I played a bunch of other random stuff, and got to play like a bunch of the cool stuff that I really liked, like gizmos and things like that. So
that was the first time we ever met Adam Sparks, and our life has forever been changed.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember that?
Yeah,
this grizzly-haired looking handsome man with the huge grin across his face, with the beautiful spectacle glasses, comes walking in, and he's like, "You Rob? You Matt? Hey guys, hey!" And we're, oh man, I remember that. That was a beautiful, crazy, that whole thing. And Timothy Gay, meeting and playing with him, like that was a fun. That was fun. That was crazy. But just meeting
back when
Adam
Tim's
there,
name actually meant something. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Before he was banned from everything.
My buddy, who shall not be named, he was there, and he was like, "Oh, so you're just gonna leave me? Go play with them?" It's like, well, we did kind of pre-set up this game of Blood Rage. Like, I'm not leaving you. I'm just going to play this game. Oh, so you're leaving me? So I'm here all alone. Like, I guess, yeah. And he even still to this day gives me a hard time. Remember that time we went to that con and you just left me? All your friends? I didn't leave you, bro. We had a game already set up. But anyway.
You should have kicked out Tim's friend and had.
He's a jealous lover. That was Tim's brother. That wasn't his friend.
Well, obviously you should have been kicked out then. No, I'm just kidding.
So anyway, he who shall not be named is a very jealous lover. And I get it. I mean, when you got me, and you want it. So I understand. We had a good time. That was a good con, man. And see, that's the thing. Like Zachary and everybody else, like meeting you guys, like meeting the fans and meeting people like that and playing and like going beyond just an online name or an online profile, but actually meeting people, like you guys are awesome. And that was a lot of fun. Adam Sparkles.
Man, that's old school right there.
Bro, that is back before Roy learned how to read, and when he was like illiterate Roy, and he like what was it, Darth Grader and Adam Sparkles. And for the longest time, Matt and I were like, okay, these people's names are really Sparkles and all this other kind of stuff.
They were.
Roy,
Well, I mean, it's
See,
the
the
internet.
timeline where you guys never went into chat. I could just mold reality. I could just say whatever I wanted. I'd be like, so and so's in chat says Rob needs to talk less. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey,
Rob would be like,
I've actually been told that in chat and in person. Does not hurt my feelings. I do talk a lot.
Oh.
But this is a radio show. Like,
you got to talk. You
got it.
It's the thing.
And I hate that silence part. So unless somebody else is talking, I'll talk. Unless it's just Matt and I, and then it's that awkward because I can hear his frustration in the background with his internet, and then I'm like, "Oh crap, what do I do?" I was like, one time I couldn't
you guys
talk.
tried to do that podcast without me, and then it just didn't work.
Hey guys, so cheese is made from milk that's expired that you blah blah blah.
Yeah, let me tell you, my internet has been like spotty at best, so I'm just like, maybe I should just upgrade. I don't know. I feel like I probably should.
Tom did say something to me about running. Like, he's like, Roy, you would you be interested in running some sort of show like on Saturday at Dice Tower? I'm like, should I try to put together like hey, this is live epic gaming night, like podcast live in front of a studio. I'm like, I'd feel real bad when it's just like two people in the audience. I'd be like, oh, okay. Well,
hey, I'd still do it, and I'd hype it up for those two people. I'm just going to let you know right now, if that really happened and he needed something, I don't care if nobody else is in there. All the people listening, and I know Adam would come by, I would lose my mind. I'm not saying I'd take off my shirt. Nobody wants to see that, and there would be an arrest warrant out for me for indecent exposure. But I would go crazy. We'd have a good time. We'd have a good time.
Be like, hey, I'm setting up the microphones for us. What then?
Yeah. It's how we'll get asked not to come back to Dice Tower again.
Well, I don't know if we get asked. So. We definitely would not be. Well, I don't know. I'd be good enough where they'd ask us to do another show. It'd be the second show where you get them. The first one, right? The first one, that's when you're like, oh, hi, hello. The second one, bam! We can make that part of the scavenger hunt. You can
Tom's like, hey, Roy, can you run a show? And we're up there doing it, and then Tom walks by, is like, it's just us up there talking to like an empty room.
If Tom walked by, though, I would yell at him like I did at St. Elmo's Steakhouse. Hey, Tom! Hey!
Tom! Hey!
I just want to let you know, Tom!
Is
that your daughter?
I was so happy and high off of the cocktail sauce and eating that delicious steak that when he just walked by at the best moment. Hey, Tom! Because I talked to him multiple times.
I remember you confessing that to him at like the barbecue place we went to when we did that live thing. You're like, hey, remember that time I yelled at you? He's like, no.
Well, his daughter was with him, and they were leaving, and it was just like really awkward. And he said, all right, I'm going to go now. It was just, man, that cocktail sauce at St. Elmo's so good.
Oh, yeah, it is good.
I almost want to go to Gen Con just for the food. Like, I don't even care.
See, same, man. I want to go back for those cheese sticks.
The cheese sticks and the cocktail sauce. Like, I want to go, and I just want to get a table. And I'm congested. I've been congested all week. I want to order that sauce right now to open up my sinuses. The horseradish that they put in that thing is the freshest, hottest horseradish.
That's awesome,
of your life. So, woo! Man.
Adam's going to dress up as Crystal.
I think that'd be hilarious. I really do. I think that would be hilarious if he came in as Crystal. I hope he dyes his hair, or if not, he gets like a wig.
Purple wig.
He's got to have that really cool custom meeple dress that she was wearing.
Exactly. That's what he's talking about getting.
Yeah.
That's solid.
But anyway, a live RPG on the Dice Tower would be cool. In fact, we could do the RPG based on the con. You got to survive the con. Everybody turns into like zombies or mutants or something.
They
How do
have
you get
that
out?
Fantasy Flight RPG system, which is supposed to be about like good for that sort of thing, but I haven't ever messed with that.
Oh, good times. Anyway, you let Tom know. If he needs people for Saturday, Matt and I, we got you.
Awesome. Well, I guess we can start wrapping this thing up. And hey, I would love to go to PAX Unplugged too. I'll let you guys know if I end up actually doing that or not.
You'll be going. Come on. Quit saying that.
Well, it's just one of those up in the air things because, you know, I'm just the video editor.
Uh-huh.
But good times. Awesome, guys. Well, we stream these Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time at youtube.com/Epic Gaming Night. Make sure to check us out live on the show because it's cool to chat with everybody who comes in. We also want to say thank you so much to all of our amazing patrons on Patreon. If you'd like to support Epic Gaming Night and help us keep doing what we're doing, check us out at patreon.com/Epic Gaming Night. And also make sure to check us out on Twitter and Instagram at Epic Gaming Night, at Shades of the Mind, and at
Board Game Rob or Board Game Newman.
Board Game Newman. He doesn't even know his own.
Well, I don't ever. I don't.
Like I don't Instagram anymore. What's that?
I
Like, I don't post there.
What's the medias of the socials?
I've got my RS Newman Writes one that I do a lot, and I've got Board Game Newman.
They're just trying to gather data on you anyway, so they can categorize you and sell ads to you. So.
And that's fine. They've already done it. I get that all the time with my real estate stuff.
And at Mega Moose Con.
Absolutely.
And at Contemporary Cardboard, we're just going to shout out everybody's Instagram
I just saw the picture of how to protect your home from in a zombie apocalypse, and they literally just surrounded the walls of their house with treadmills.
There you go. It's just like Plants vs. Zombies.
So it's like they walk up, they just like keep walking.
Oh,
that's pretty
That's a
amazing.
little Anton you have in power, though.
That's true. Unless they walk enough, if they press hard enough, they'll make it roll on their own.
I will say there is a ergonomic treadmill that has a thing inside of it where you power it yourself. So once you start walking on it, it powers itself and can generate its own power.
I'll just
you know.
You.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks everybody for joining us.
What a good out.
I guess we'll see you guys on the next one.
Yes, thanks for putting up with us. We love you guys. You're amazing. Everybody's fantastic. Peace.
Peace.